Hey, this is a video for 7.5, Indoor Air Pollutants. So go ahead and check out the overview and set up your guided notes. Now, indoor air pollutants are different depending on whether we're talking about the developing world or the developed world. So in countries that are in the early stages of demographic transition, we tend to have indoor air pollutants that are associated with heating, home heating, and cooking. A lot of times they will use wood stoves or like an open pit, basically fireplace that burns wood or coal and releases a lot of particulate matter and a lot of soot. Now, in the industrialized or the developed world, typically a lot of the indoor air pollutants come from paint, solvents, chemicals, and cleaning supplies. One of these indoor air pollutants is asbestos. And asbestos is found in insulation, and it is a particulate matter, and it is very dangerous because it is carcinogenic. Carcinogenic means that it is cancer-causing. So these little asbestic particles will flake off and become airborne, and if you breathe them in, they can become dislodged in your, or wedged down into your lung tissue, leading to lung cancer. Now, it is found in insulation, predominantly insulation products, and again, it's a major respiratory irritant, leading to lung cancer. Now, carbon monoxide is, again, when you burn carbon in the presence of oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide. But this is not a pure reaction. It is not perfect. Sometimes you will also release carbon monoxide, and that is from the incomplete combustion of carbon. So whenever you have incomplete combustion, you're releasing some carbon monoxide. This can be done, it's very common in the home, especially if you're cooking or operating something that is burning a fuel. And one way that it can affect us is it can cause asphyxiation because we are not able to bind oxygen to the hemoglobin in our red blood cells. We're binding the carbon monoxide instead. One way to alleviate it is to have better ventilation or turn on a fan. Now, volatile organic compounds, remember these are in adhesives. Now, indoor, it could be in adhesives like that new furniture smell if you've ever bought something from IKEA. The glue they use in furniture, the glue and the adhesive they use in the carpets. Also, any sealant chemicals like in your bathroom or if to seal up windows. Now, it's also found in cleaning supplies. Also in formaldehyde. Formaldehyde, if you've ever dissected a pig, that's stored in formaldehyde. But it's also found in building materials because it helps to press wood together when you're making certain types of plywood. Particle board, which is, a building material. Also found in furniture, any of these particle or pieces of IKEA furniture that are just stuck together, they're stuck together using formaldehyde. Now, this can be an eye irritant. If you ever had any new carpets or any chemical cleaners around, you probably had to rub your eyes, even though you probably shouldn't. It's also can contribute to asthma and other respiratory ailments. Now, radon is very common in areas where we have granite bedrock. Now, radon is formed from the natural decay of uranium into radon. It's more common in areas that we have granite bedrock, but all forms of rock, or most forms of rock will have some uranium present in it. Now, this radon is rising up through cracks in the soil. It's also rising into our foundation in our home through little cracks that we have in the basement, for example. And this is a respiratory irritant. It also is carcinogenic. It is a leading cause of lung cancer. That is a major impact of this. But one way that we can solve it or prevent it is by sealing up cracks, but also sealing up cracks in the foundation so the radon can't get through, but also having better ventilation in our homes. Now, the only bad thing about radon is we can't see it. We also can't smell it. But they do have radon detectors available for purchase. Now, lead is found in old paint. It's a glaze in certain types of ceramics and pottery, but also it's found in a lot of pipes. Now, these pipes, if they're not really in use to transport water, but some older buildings and older cities with decaying infrastructure still do have lead pipes. Now, this is contributing to neurological damage, and it is especially dangerous if younger children encounter lead. Now, mold is a particulate pollutant. It is found in dark and damp areas and areas where you have poor ventilation. And it is a respiratory irritant. It can lead to all different types of respiratory ailments, from asthma, bronchitis, COPD, and emphysema. Now, we have what is called sick building syndrome, and that occurs in newer buildings, and it's really typically new construction or new renovations. But you have this new furniture, you have new carpeting, you have new insulation. And that is going to lead to a lot of sicknesses for employees in these new buildings. And that's due to headaches, nausea, throat and eye irritation, and respiratory inflammation. Now, sick building syndrome is avoidable or is preventable with improved ventilation. But the EPA says that there's 4 causes of sick building syndrome: inadequate ventilation, indoor pollutants, outdoor pollutants getting in, and biological pollutants. So if we had better ventilation, maybe better filters, a filtration system for the air, that would be improving the likelihood of people getting sick. Now, I would like for you to respond to this check for understanding and show what you've learned by responding to this FRQ prompt. Explain the impact of home ventilation on indoor air quality. I hope that this video was informative. I thank you for your attention, and I'll see you soon.